Hello everyone. In this lecture, we shall be discussing about C++ identifiers and keywords. Again, every program as discussed earlier consists of identifier, some sort of identifier and keyword and other elements also, and all these elements were called tokens. So we'll be discussing about the first token, that is identifier, and then the next token, that is the keyword. So identifier, what is an identifier? Identifier is a name given to various programming elements जैसे वेरिएबल, मेथड, क्लास, एरे या एक ऑब्जेक्ट या एनीथिंग जो भी आप आइडेंटिफाई करवाना चाहते हैं इस पर्टिकुलर में आपकी मर्जी के अकॉर्डिंगली आप उसको आइडेंटिफायर कहते हैं। तो इसलिए यहाँ पे क्या होगा, नेम गिवन। तो यहाँ पे ये जो नेम गिवन है ये इसका यही मतलब है। अब नेम है, किस चीज का नेम है? कहता है वेरियस प्रोग्रामिंग एलिमेंट्स का। अब कहता है कि अगर हमने ये पर्पस क्या होगा इसका, आइडेंटिफाई करना उस पर्टिकुलर चीज को प्रोग्राम में। नाउ अब ये क्वेश्चन है कि ये बनता कैसे है, तो कहता है इसको लिखने वक्त we should obey certain rules that we should be followed while choosing or writing the identifier. First, it is can be a combination of letters, numeric digits, and a underscore or a dollar sign. So while writing this particular identifier, that we have to make sure that we can type certain characters, letters, digits, underscore, and a dollar. Second, it must start with a letter, whether uppercase or lowercase, or an underscore, but it should start with this, not anything else. So if it does, it is an error. Okay. So we'll be discussing few examples by making a program that what all can be there, and you can come to know later. Then it cannot start with a digit. So if you write it like 2023 salary, now this is an invalid identifier. But if you write it as salary 2023 as an identifier, as a variable of a particular type, then it is a valid identifier. So next is, it cannot be a C++ keyword. We are going to discuss these keywords shortly, which are also known as reserved words. So it cannot be a C++ keyword because C++ keywords are already there. So in this case, we will be discussing that they cannot be keyword. So the next rule is, it can be any length, but it should neither be too long nor too short, because if you have to repeatedly use them in a program, then it can cause a problem. And too short do not convey the meaning. That is, I always prefer to give meaningful names, not like X and Y, because they are good for novice or a beginner, but for a good program, so that they can have a good documentation. In that sense, for that purpose, always declare variables or anything identifier, any identifier, to be a good name meaning identifier. It can convey its meaning, because its meaning should be clear from the name of the identifier itself. Then it can be case sensitive, because C++ is a case sensitive language. So all these, if written in this way, are altogether different identifier. Okay, no blank spaces are allowed. So you cannot put like salary for 2024 or roll number as identifiers. These will be treated as invalid identifier. Okay everyone, now we will be discussing about a program, how to you make use of identifiers. I will be just discussing some variables. Before that, I change this color to color theme, and let it make visual basic dark theme. Okay, so I start with the basic structure of C++ program, and here you can see I will be writing first hash include, and you can see the IntelliSense feature over here, int main return 0. I will be putting an enter over here, and it is always better to include the standard namespace, so I will be including it. So let me declare my first variable, and let it be the simple X. No doubt I never encourage to use short names, but for simplicity we can start, and we simply say let me print the value of this. So let me check whether it is running or not, and you get the value. Okay, so I make some changes over here. I make another variable and let it be some value for different variable. Now let me declare it to be a capital int. Now both are ints. Let me see whether this will work. And I put over here this int. Spelling should be the same, otherwise it can be an error. Okay, so you can see that no doubt we are having this int, but lowercase int is a keyword, but here int capital is a identifier. Capital int is identifier, and identifier, I'm putting the wrong spelling, identifier, and int is keyword. Okay, now let's now do with something else. So you can put this is just for variables. You have to be right double. You can put enter over here also, like it can be GST some 5.0. Okay, again I just check in the values, and by printing these values, now let's see what's the value for the GST. Save it and run it. So you can see two values are printed over here, but the value for here is it's converted to 5 here because it is ignored over here because it was 0. But as I put here 5.56, it will not be ignored. We will be discussing about this. So you can see over here. Now next we proceed with some changes. Let me introduce a dollar symbol over here. So let's see if dollar is working. Now dollar, and I have to put dollar over here also. Okay, let's see if it's working. It's very good, quick to show errors. So yes, it's working. Similarly, I put an underscore over here, and similarly I put over underscore over here to show that whether it is valid or not. Okay, it's still valid, but let me try to put a number 23 and starting with the digit. Now it's showing a red line, it will not work. So this is there that you cannot use digits, and this is very important while naming these particular variables. Then let me put all together different things. Let me remove this. Now let me add int age is equal to, let me 56, and int age is equal to 15. I just removed 23 so that it will compile successfully. So let me save it, and I put the value of age over here. Okay, and one capital AGE. I should put it over here. Now let me save it and run it. It's still working. You can see over here this is working. Okay, so you can put the name. Similarly, let me take another variable, salary, and next should be capital as I discussed, 2023. Let it be this, and let me print this value for this thing. It's showing that there's no such variable. Now it is showing this variable also. This is a feature of IntelliSense. Now if I run it, Have I made some mistake? Should I save it? I've missed a semicolon. No, it is showing no. Yeah, it's showing it was some error. So it is showing that value again, but as you put 2023 in front of it, it will not work. So this is to be important thing. Then similarly, you can check for various other things like function definitions. All these are macros, constants, then pointers. A small pointer variable can work out over here. Let it be star ptr, okay, and is equal to, we'll be discussing no doubt about pointers, but I am just explaining you that how you can declare a pointer and pointer is a valid variable. So if here you start with star ptr, okay, let me save it and print its value. So again, it's showing that value. So it is very important for us to understand that how these identifiers are used in the program. I've shown the very important one, int. Capital int is different than identifiers. So this is, should be, all these should be things should be considered while making programs. And what are the rules you should keep in mind? Okay. Okay, now we discuss about C++ identifier coding standards. That is, these are not rules, these are just there so that it can improve the readability and maintainability of the code. We should follow certain rules, or you can say, to be very frank, conventions that help us to distinguish our program various identifiers that are used for different purposes. So first comes with the class name. So class names, make sure that they start with capital letters. That class name should begin with a capital letter. So all the code that you write, make sure that it is having a capital starting letter as a capital letter. And they should be descriptive and nouns, like name of the class is person, rectangle. All these are noun phrases and they should not be very long. But if you want to include a class name which is a multi-word class name, make sure that the inner word should be uppercase letter. Now this is again coding standard, not a rule. That is, the standards are followed so that they can be distinguished clearly in your programs. So for example, some examples are grade book, commission, employee, process, exam, results. So these are some of the examples. So the next is name of the methods. Now classes contain methods. There can be functions also, otherwise also. But I'm talking just specifically in terms of all the things that we should consider while writing for classes. Okay. So name of the methods, that is a part of the class, should be a verb. By here, by method part of the class, I mean something to be used in the class, and should start with the lowercase. For example, multiply. And if they are made up of multiple words, that is, each subsequent word should be a noun. That is, starting with the verb, they should be followed by noun. Yes, and written in uppercase. That is the first character written in uppercase. For example, max, count, get, name. Now name is a noun or adjective and get is a verb. Set, name, start, game, is, prime. So these are some of the rules that you should be considering while writing when the method name consists of multiple words. Next is the name of the objects and variables, and they should be beginning with lowercase. That is, the first character should be written in lowercase, like salary. Okay, they should be considered. And if it contains multiple words, each subsequent word should start with uppercase character, and they should be first nouns. Like you can see, N is capital over here, N is capital over here in the first name, and N is capital in the mobile name, because they are of multiple words. In addition to this, there are some rules that you should also be considering, like the private attribute name in a class should be prepended with the letter M. Okay, if they are private, prepended means you should add something to the end to make sure that they are private. Constants, all constants should be have we must be written in uppercase. Like pi is a constant you normally use, and for that you should use pi capital. Then macros should be used in uppercase, and if a macro consists of multiple words, then it should have underscore as a separator. Like if max is a macro, or you, in the case of or in case of anything like count, max size, then if max size is there, you should put max underscore size. Next is pointer variables should be prepended with P. It is good readability, but normally people can avoid it, but it should be there. Reference variables should be prepended with R, that is they should add, sorry, prepended means adding something to the front. So S rate is an example of prepended, that is we are adding S rate where S is indicating that it will be something that is a reference variable. Then global variables should be starting with G followed by the name of the variable. So these are some of the conventions that you should consider while writing these particular uh, rules for the identifiers. Next, we have keywords. Now keywords, as you know, are reserved words and are predefined, and therefore they are known as keywords or reserved words. Predefined meaning, and we cannot change their meaning. So these are also identifiers and they are used for specific purpose and in a specific manner. Okay, so they cannot be used for the name of the variables as we have discussed earlier. Our identifiers cannot be keywords, so you cannot use these keywords as identifiers. So these are some of the keywords. If you click clearly look, I have indicated all those marked in red. As you can see, they are first 8 and these are basically the data types. Next 11 are indicated by green and they are used in flow control statements. Next 3 are the access specifiers written shown in blue color. Then we have true and false, oh, sorry, static. We have signed, these are also part of keywords. Then we have true and false, true and false. Now these are again not there in C but part of C++ as a bool data type is available. Then you have other like we have auto. Now auto is highlighted because it has been redefined. Now with C++11, auto has a different meaning. Earlier it was used as a storage type, storage class specifier. Now it is used as a data type, automatic determination type. Then we have extern, whose meaning is also being redefined. Then we have something special for only C++ like decal type, no except. Null pointer is used in to enhance the feature or to have some, there was some problem with null pointer, sorry, and therefore null PTR was introduced. Then we have override, that is again a part of C++, align off, align as. These all marked in dark brown color are exclusive to C++11. They were not there in, so in together they are more than 50 different keywords available in this particular C++.